Hello and welcome to WeListen. This week we have with us CA Aditya Gupta who will discuss the concept of company voluntary arrangements under the UK Insolvency Act 1986 and how different it is from the scheme of compromise and arrangements. Hi Aditya, welcome to WeListen. All yours now.
Hi Prakul. Company's voluntary arrangement is one of the formal insolvency procedure that is prescribed under the UK Insolvency Act 1986 to rescue the company who is facing the threat of insolvency, and it actually involves the creditor writing off the part of the debt in order to restore the company back to the solvency, which eventually preserves the value for the shareholders, and it also enables the director to get back to the control. Talking about their step-by-step approach, in most of the cases, it has been triggered by the directors themselves. They actually appoint an IP, generally who is in the formal term known as nominee, who drafted a CVA proposal for the directors. The directors will consider this proposal about the realisticness, about the terms and condition, whether they can adhere to the terms and condition or not, what kind of negotiation they can actually propose to the creditors. And after the consideration of all the things, they actually submit the CVA to the court. The signed copy of the proposal of the CVA is sent to all the creditors at least 3 weeks before the meetings of the creditors and shareholders. Afterwards, to consider this proposal by the creditors and the shareholders, there is a meeting of shareholders and creditors are held. The appointed IP, who's a nominee, convenes a meeting of the unsecured creditors on one side and also to the meetings of shareholders on the other side. During the meeting, the CVA will be proposed to them by the IP, where they can consider all the terms and conditions, whether they want to question anything, whether they want to understand anything, whether they want to modify or amend anything. Afterwards, the creditors and shareholders can approve this proposal through the threshold of 75% of the more of the value, at least 75% of the value by the creditors, and 50% of the shareholders must vote in favor of the proposal for it to be approved. After the approval, the meeting chairman issues report, which contains all the overview of what happened during the meeting, who was present, who was not present, what actually was discussed, and they submit this report to the courts. And they can also optionally apply to the court that any legal actions against the company should be stayed. And once the CVA is approved, all the legal actions taken against the company have become frozen. And afterwards, this nominee IP will turn into the supervisor, who will actually supervise whether the CVA has been implemented in its proper law and spirit or not. And if there is any kind of default of this proposed CVA, they have to mandatorily certainly have to apply to the petition to wind up the company by means of compulsory liquidation. A very important another point you have asked about the difference between a CVA and a compromise and arrangement. CVA is a formal insolvency process which has been prescribed under the UK Insolvency Act 1986, whereas compromise and arrangement are not. CVA generally requires a nominee who is IP prior to the implementation, and also this IP will turn into a supervisor during the implementation part, but there is no such kind of requirement in the compromise and arrangement. All the creditors can vote by a single decision procedure in a CVA, whereas in schemes, creditors are divided into classes and each class has separate meetings. In the end, secured creditors in the case of CVA cannot be bound without their explicit consent. Whereas in schemes of arrangement, if particular class belongs to, if the secured creditors belongs to a particular class, and if that class votes on certain thing, then the secured creditor also bound by the voting of that particular class.
Okay.
And yeah. In addition, there's about the moratorium thing. That if generally it is a normal phenomenon that if the creditors become aware that a CVA is proposed which might affect their ability to recover their debts in full, there's a risk that they will take enforcement action. So there is no option prescribed to the directors and the IP that they can apply to the court for the moratorium.
Okay. So Aditya, in the absence of such corresponding provision in India, do you suggest that it is time for us to adopt such kind of a framework?
Yes, this is the time to adopt such kind of framework, because one of the very important objectives laid down on the IBC is the promotion of entrepreneurship, which in my opinion has not been addressed in entirety by the current code. It is very important to give the second chance to the honest directors. Such kind of provision should be placed in IBC, because there has been an incentive for the directors to initiate this procedure, because they can continue trading in their own name, they can maintain a control of their organization also, and they can negotiate with the creditors under the supervision of a professional with maintaining controlling as well. And if there is requirement, they can actually restructure the business model of their organization as well under the supervision of a professional with maintaining control.
Okay. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you so much, Putul.
Stay tuned to We Listen by subscribing to our podcast.